Hey there, beautiful people. It's Dana bringing another daily dose. I just recently shared a video about how God will get you to your destination no matter how many vehicles it takes to get there. And I referenced the movie Trains, Planes, and Automobiles with John Candy and how he had to go through the most treacherous journey getting back home with all these different vehicles that got him there. And eventually he got home, but he was transformed in the process of that journey. So I look at my own life and my own situation as a special needs mom, and I think to myself, would I want to change anything? I think if you asked any special needs mom or a mom going through an extreme circumstance, would they change it? I would say that right off the top of my head, I probably would, because I wouldn't want my daughter to be struggling with the challenges that she has. And another message that I shared, God has a different vantage point. He's got the whole puzzle picture on the box. We only have a pile of puzzle pieces. So he can see something in Gracie's life that I don't see. And I don't think that God makes mistakes. I absolutely 100% do not believe that God is the author of disease or disability. He does not make mistakes with human beings. I think we live in a fallen world, and I think that there are things that could potentially cause harm to us, but it's not God that does that. And he will work all things out for her good. And he sees a bigger picture in all of that. And so I look at Gracie and I wonder, would her life be better if she didn't have Down syndrome? Would her life be better if she didn't have all the challenges that she has? I don't know. Maybe it would be in certain areas, but then there's certain parts of her that I would never want to change. I wouldn't want to change how loving and forgiving she is. I wouldn't want to change the fact that she sees the world through the eyes of Jesus. And it's not even because I've shared that with her or taught her that. She just naturally can see the world through good. She sees people from their best selves. She acknowledges people and she loves on people so much so that sometimes she gets rejection because people are a little bit taken back by the fact that she wants to hug everybody and love on everybody. And when we live in a world where everybody's defenses are up, we get offended by everything. That can be hard to swallow sometimes when you've got somebody that genuinely wants to love on you and they're like, what's going on here? So sometimes people are a little standoffish when she comes at them with hugs, but most of the time people are filled with joy because she came up to them, she hugged them, she said they were beautiful, and they're just like taken back by that because who does that? And so they just feel like it really made their day. I remember one time we were coming out of the store and there was this young guy there and she came up and just gave him a big hug. And I said, instantly, I'm like, I'm so sorry. She doesn't understand. And he's like, oh my gosh, I needed this today. Thank you. It just made my day. So it doesn't matter whether you're an older person that gets a hug, a little kid, or a young guy. A lot of times she just seems to sense and know when these people need it. Now, she doesn't always do that. There's a lot of times where she's not talking to anybody in the store. But then there's times like she just knows to go up to somebody and hug them or say a nice thing about them. I wouldn't want to change that. Now, I'm not saying that because she has Down syndrome, that's how she is. Maybe her personality would have been like that if she was typical. I don't know. I don't know what that would be like. I just know that there are certain qualities about her that I would not want to change. I wouldn't want to change the fact that she doesn't see skin color or gender or less than. She just sees everybody as beautiful people. Honestly, she doesn't even notice when people are treating her poorly. A lot of times when she's around other little kids, a lot of times they could be cruel or just not want to play with her. And she doesn't even see that as a bad thing. She just continues to keep doing her best to try to get that child or kids to play with her. Sometimes she's sad. You know what I mean? And that's where my mama heart breaks, especially if we're like at a family function and all the kids want to be doing something else and she wants to be playing quietly with one of them and they don't want to do that. And then she cries and I've got to come in and try to support her and do whatever I can to help her feel better. Then my mama heart grieves. But she never sees that person as somebody that did something bad like we would see. We would feel rejection and then we would start to think badly about that person. She doesn't do that. She still loves them. Every time she's ever done something that's hurt somebody, she makes an apology card. If we've ever visited another family and they had a child and she maybe did something where it wasn't kind or whatever, maybe it's just not sharing a toy or being controlling and wanting the kids to play the way she wants, she will come home and make them a card and want me to send the card to them. Her heart deeply cares about human beings, and she deeply cares about being good and pure, and she deeply cares about honoring Jesus. I don't want to change that at all. So if I had to give all of that up so that she didn't have this diagnosis, I wouldn't give it up in a heartbeat. And then I look at my own life and think, God used this vehicle of being a special needs mom to get me to where I'm at today. Now, I'm not saying I've arrived. I'm still on the journey. I still struggle every day with my own self-worth and my own, there's a grieving process that you have. And I've been in 14 years doing this, and there are still things about my life that I grieve that I'm never going to be able to get to do. We're never going to be empty nesters. There's just things I can't do. I can't just leave my house and go out for a day without making sure that she's cared for, that there's somebody watching her. I care very much about if something were to happen to my husband and I, who would be adequate enough to take care of her. And I don't mean that I don't have family that would, but would they care for her the way I do? Would she get all of her needs met? So there's that concern or grieving that I have. But then I have a deep grieving for her life too. Will she ever get married? Will she ever have a child? I don't know whether she's even able to do that or not. It's not that she doesn't want that. She deeply wants that. She deeply wants to be married and have a child, but that might look different. Maybe she's living with us doing that. Maybe she's living on some property down the road and we have to put a little house on there. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I know that God has her future in his hands and that he's considered all angles and that there's a plan and it's good. He doesn't just have a plan that's good for me or for you. He's got a plan that's good for our children too. And he knows what we can't see. His ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts, and he's got the whole picture. But that doesn't mean as a mom I don't grieve the things that she might be missing out on. And it doesn't mean that I don't grieve my own life, my own challenges that I have to do in order to care for somebody 24/7 for the rest of their life. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to have grief. It's okay to walk through the different stages of that. But the question I would ask you is, would you change anything? And I would have to say, I don't think I would, because it has brought me to who I am. Now, it's possible that God could have used a different vehicle to bring me to where I'm at, but he chose this one, and I'm grateful for this one. There's other things that he's brought into my life that have been those vehicles, like the trains, planes, and automobiles. I have certainly had other things in my life that have contributed to who I am today, good and bad. You know what I'm saying? I've definitely walked through struggles in relationships and marriage. Like I said before, I've been divorced before. That was a deeply traumatic and devastating thing that happened to me when I was younger. But I'm married now, and I've been married for 25 years. Now, we don't have this perfect marriage. We certainly have issues. So God has used those to develop me. And he's honestly used it to help me see other people through his eyes and stop being a victim and stop blaming other people for my problems. Now, I don't think I could have learned that by having everything perfect in my marriage. He's helped me walk through health challenges and definitely helped me walk through financial challenges. And I've learned how to respect what God has blessed us with versus just thinking that like money grows on trees, as our parents say. And so there's so many things that God has helped me walk through as the vehicles that have helped me to get to where I'm at. And I don't think I would change all that, because if it meant that I couldn't be who I am today, I don't know if I would want to change that. Now, obviously, I don't want to walk through pain, and I know you don't want to walk through pain or tragedy. But a lot of times we see it as a tragedy and God sees it as a blessing, or he sees it as something that's going to help you to be able to walk through something that you wouldn't have been able to before, to build the character that you need. And obviously, again, I'm not saying that I want any more character building experiences. Sometimes I feel like I'm good on the character. I don't need all this. But then I look back over my life and I don't think I'd want to change all that. I really don't think I would want to change that. I really do love who God is creating me to be, and I hope that you are the kind of person that you're walking that journey too, and you love who God is creating you to be. It doesn't matter whether your child can do everything that every other child does. They can do things that we can't do. They have sensitivities in their spirit that we don't have. Sometimes I think Gracie gets the whole spirit world and God and Jesus way more than most adults do. I wouldn't want to change a minute about her on that. But it's okay to go up and down and how you feel about this whole journey. So the other question I would want to ask you is, if God didn't fix the situation, if he didn't heal the situation, if he didn't make things better, would you still serve him? So that's probably another video that I need to do following this one. But would you still serve God? And my answer to that would be 100% yes, because it's in this journey that he's brought me through that I've learned who he is and who his character is, and it's good. He's never left me. He's never forsaken me. He's always been there with me. I didn't see that before when things were going well. I really actually found him in the deepest valleys of my life. And I've learned that he's really all I need. He's really all you need. God will meet all your needs, all the needs that he has created you to desire and need. And I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't stop serving him. But I'm still standing and believing that God is a God of miracles and that he can transform any situation and that he will give beauty for ashes. But even if he doesn't, I'll never stop serving him. I'll never stop honoring him as the one that has created me and has the blueprint for my life. And if I had to give up everything else in order to keep God, then that's what I would do. But that takes a lot of transformational work and inner healing to get to that place. Because we see things from the external and the outside world, and we think, why would God ever ask us to give up anything? I don't think he's asking us to give up anything. But I think he does want to show you who you truly are, and your identity is rooted in him. And he wants you to be able to stand against the real enemy that is trying to get you to view things through the wrong lens. So anyway, I could go on and on about this. I hope this encourages you. I just really felt like I needed to share from my heart that sometimes on this journey as a special needs mom, there's a lot of ups and downs. But when I look back now, I don't think I would really change anything, because I know that God has got something amazing for my child. He's got something amazing for your child. And I kind of like who I'm becoming because of it. It took me a long time to understand that. So anyway, I hope that encourages you. Remember that God loves you. He has a plan. He really does. It's going to work out, I promise you. And I love you, and I can't wait for us to be back together again. So please have an awesome day. Bye.